Welcome back, adventurers, to some more King's Quest 2, Romancing the Stones. It is dark here in Kolyma. It is ominous. Let me go explore and see what I can find. It's a pretty cool church here. Really cool looking. Let me take a look.
You have come to the Church of Kolyma. It is said that all are welcome, and that the monks living here often help those in need.
If you remember from one of the notes, it mentioned that the church is only open from dusk till dawn, which is kind of odd. So let me go in here and investigate.
Finding the door unlocked and unbarred, you enter the church.
Very interesting decoration here.
A hideous statue of a grinning fiend forms an archway leading to the church's outdoor cemetery. The symbol of the faith is displayed prominently in the church.
Let me use this Bible over here. Looks quite prominent.
You look over the Bible, which appears to be many decades old. You open it and find that an otherwise blank page at the front has been written on. It is dated over 20 years ago.
To all those who have heard the word, we are the chosen few, blessed by the spirit of the wild, destined for greatness, concealed by the cloth. There is but one challenge we must overcome before our future can be set in stone. The simple people of Kolyma cling still to the memory of their former ruler. Even now, years after his fate's dark turn, they retain their hope that he will not forsake them. As long as this is so, our goal cannot be attained. So, my brothers, it is our duty to see the land cleansed of its blight. Do not fear our enemy. Our faith, purpose, and power will guide us to the future we were promised. A path has been found to him, O brothers. Let him hear the warning howls. The cloth will be lifted for all time, and our songs will echo to the end of him, his influence, and his family. Our time is at hand. Lo Wo Wolf.
You return the Bible to where you found it. You also notice that a page from the Bible has fallen onto the floor.
So quite interesting, it appears that the faith has this conspiracy to cleanse the memory of Count Kaldor from the land of Kolyma. Let me take this page here, though.
You pick up the fallen page and read it. The words appear to have been written recently. Silently with newfound skill, Riley's souls naughtily steal.
So that doesn't make too much sense, but hopefully it will at some point. Let me come over here and actually pray next to the monk. Maybe he'll notice me.
Feeling humbled, you kneel down to pray. You rise again after a few moments. The monk stirs, stands, and turns to face you.
Okay. Let me talk to him.
Father, I go now to a place of darkness. While I am stout of heart, the path laid down before me is unclear. I seek only the knowledge that my passage be illuminated by heavenly favor, and a prayer that I may make it through.
The monk gives you a reassuring smile and pats you on the shoulder. He then lifts a silver cross from around his neck and places it in your hands.
Thank you.
You are welcome, my child.
You can talk?
Of course.
I thought monks were forbidden from speaking.
Not all churches follow the same rules, and this church is quite unique.
Really? How so?
The monk just smiles placidly at you.
Let's see if I can get anything more out of him.
About this crucifix.
I believe you will find the cross to be of immense value. It has come to us at a huge price.
It was expensive?
I mean that it has cost us more than any value to be in possession of it.
If I may ask, why is it that you only open the church at dusk?
We find the late hours more favorable.
But surely then you would not have many in your congregation.
Yes, that is true.
What do you know of the Count?
Only that he is a heathen, a blasphemer. You serve God well by going there, my child. Bless you.
The monk smiles at you, turns back to the altar, kneels, and resumes his prayers.
I think that's my cue to leave, but something seems very fishy about this monk. Very fishy indeed. Let me get out of here. because something just does not feel right.
Without warning, a pair of wolves dart out of the dark forest and dash towards you.
That is absolutely terrifying, but there's nothing I can do right now.
For a minute there, you thought those wolves were going to attack. Curious as to why they didn't, you decide to follow them. You see the monk standing alone outside the church. Then you notice the two wolves approaching him. You are about to yell a warning to the monk, but the words die in your throat as the man steps forward and pats the wolves' heads.
No, my brothers, we must not hurt him. Not yet. He will go to the heathen's abode. He will do what needs to be done. What if he does not? Then, my brothers, we will complete the task before us, the one we began many years ago.
I knew there was something fishy with that guy.
You quickly move away from the church, your heart racing faster with every step. You have a good idea now what will happen once the moon comes out in full, and you do not want to be anywhere near here when it does. One thing's for sure, you're not getting married in that church.
So it's terrifying. Apparently there's this conspiracy. Oh man, the mystery deepens. I have to get to the bottom of all of this. So let me wander around in the woods and see if I can find anything that may help me on my quest. Any sort of hints, anything at all. Some smoke coming out from this treehouse here.
You hear the sound of a child sobbing nearby.
That is very odd. Let me go investigate.
As you approach, you recognize the child. It is Possum, the little girl you helped earlier today.
So what is Possum doing alone, crying in the woods on a very scary night? Let's find out.
Are you all right? What happened?
I went into town to buy some chicken soup for my grandma. I always try to reach home before dark, but this eve I lost my way and was attacked.
Attacked? A wolf attacked you?
No, not by a wolf, a dwarf.
For a moment, you're not sure that you heard correctly.
A dwarf, did you say?
Uh-huh. He jumped out at me, took my food, and then ran away.
Listen, I'm going to try to find this dwarf that you say stole your food. You get back to your grandma, understand?
Possum nods, says a soft thank you, and heads back home.
Hopefully Possum will find her way back home and be safe. But me, I have business with the dwarf. I need to go find him and confront him. What a meanie. You may remember him from the first King's Quest game, and he was up to no good there. I can only assume that he's been terrible over here as well. I'm gonna bang on his door. Beat him up.
You rap on the treehouse door and wait a moment, but get no response.
And of course he's not man enough to come face me, because he's not a man, he's a dwarf. So let me hide behind his house and wait for him to come out.
You watch as a little man runs out of the door, which has been built into a tree. You surmise that you have found the culprit's home. The vague aroma of chicken soup confirms it. That fiend.
The monster. So while he's gone, let me run inside his house. And I do have to do this quickly because he does come back.
Finding the door ajar, you cautiously open it and step inside the tree.
Not very dwarfish to live in a tree, that's more of a gnome thing. But doesn't change the fact that this is a very cool little house. I love tree houses, they're really cool. Look how cozy all of this is. Let me take the chicken soup.
You grab the handle of the bubbling pot of chicken soup. You take it with you.
And since this guy is such a jerk, I'm gonna steal some of his stuff as well.
Upon opening the trunk, you find a number of items that the dwarf has obviously stolen and stashed away. Among them are some gold coins. They display the distinctive face of the first king. They could only have come from the magic chest of Daventry.
If I could, I would also take his knife Because this dwarf is running around, harassing little girls, stealing their stuff, why would you want him to have a knife? Unfortunately, I can't take it, so let me get out of here before he comes back. Wish I had more time to explore his little house, but I don't. So let me run out of here quickly. Okay, perfect.
You hear the latch fall into place again as the door closes behind you.
And now let me go back to Granny's house, make sure that Possum made it home safely, and also give Granny the soup. She's probably really hungry by now. She's probably been waiting a long time for her dinner. Alright, let's go in the house.
Welcome. Come in, please. Possum told me to expect you.
So it looks like Possum made it back safely, thankfully. That's good.
The little girl is fast asleep.
Perfect. Let me heat up Granny's soup for her. It's probably cold by now.
You place the now cold chicken soup over the crackling fire once more. After it heats up to eating temperature, you remove it again.
Excellent. I bet she's hungry. Let me give her some soup.
You offer the soup to Possum's grandma, introduce yourself, and wait courteously while the frail elderly lady eats the nourishing meal. When she is finished, she sets the empty bowl down elsewhere and turns her attention towards you.
Let's see what she has to say.
If you would like to speak with me for a while, I would welcome your company. A person should never turn away a visitor, especially when she reaches the twilight of her life.
You can't help but feel a sense of finality in the old woman's words.
You must have something in return for your kindness. You do not need to risk your safety for an old, worn-out woman like myself. Look under the bed. You should find something to keep you a little warmer on a cold night like this.
Okay, let's look under her bed. Thankfully, she is not a teenage boy, so hopefully no surprises here.
You peer under the bed and find a thick black cloak. Lying atop it is a beautiful ruby-encrusted ring. You pick both up with reverence.
I could not possibly take these fine things from you.
Oh, please. I want you to have them. Nights in Kolyma are cold, believe me. As for the ring, well, perhaps it is better that I do not have it to remind me.
As you wish.
Okay, let me speak with her one more time.
You have a charming young granddaughter.
Grandma smiles at you graciously.
She is a treasure to me. I would do anything to ensure that no harm comes to her.
If I may inquire, what became of her parents?
Grandma frowns, and her eyes darken for a moment before she forces a melancholy smile to her face.
They were lost to us many years ago. I am afraid dear Possum never really knew her parents.
It must have been a daunting task raising a child by yourself, especially at your
At my age? I am certainly not as young as I used to be, and there is no shame in that. I have tried to raise her as best I could, to keep her safe and well. However, I fear that as of late the reverse has become truer.
Poor Granny's a bit troubled.
If you please, I was hoping you might tell me of the cloak and ring's origin.
The old woman closes her eyes as if the memory she seeks is painful to her senses.
They were my husband's. He was a proud man, the last of his line. His family had been rich, a great deal of old money, you might say. They lived in that castle you might have seen to the north. Its location upon that island is evidence of how much they valued their privacy. He was a good man, my husband. He took care of me. Certainly he had his strange habits. Most men do, if you would pardon me for saying so. I suspect that he practiced magic, so I could never catch him in the act. He would frequently journey afar, taking that black cloak with him wherever he went, to places he would not talk about. He said that it represented something important to a certain group of people, and that I was never to mention it to anyone. But he was always there for me, always, until that fateful night. We had been married just over a year, and I was heavy with child. We were both out walking in the weirwood forest late one night. The air was warm, and in our youth we paid little attention to the world and its many dangers. Besides, there was a full moon. We could see clearly enough. A shadow passed over us. We looked up, thinking it might have been a stray cloud. It was not. Descending upon us like a demon was the largest, most hideous bat I had ever seen. Its fangs were bared, and it dove straight for me. I must have screamed. My husband flung himself in front of me to protect me. He swung his arms about frantically in hopes of warding the horrid thing away. Perhaps he was trying to cast a spell, but could not recall how in his panic. It paid him no heed and would not be deterred. It swooped again and again, relentlessly. At one point, my husband's hand must have clipped the bat's wing because it lost control and crashed into his shoulder. He tried to wrest the foul creature away, but then he shrieked suddenly. The horrid thing had bitten him. He never did recover from that incident. He just faded with each passing hour. Within 2 days of the attack, my husband had died. We buried him on his family's plantation on the island. Sometimes when I sleep, I can feel him watching over me, guarding me, protecting me. I think he is waiting for my time to come so we can be together always.
The old lady seems to be dozing off. You can barely hear her final words.
I miss him so.
Telling the story has clearly taken a great deal out of her. You watch the old woman a moment and notice her labored breathing as she sleeps. Despite the little girl's tireless daily efforts, perhaps there's nothing more to be done.
That's kind of depressing. It seems like she's about to die, and it also appears that she is the wife of Count Caldor. Very interesting plot turn here, and it appears this may be his picture.
It is a portrait of a young man. He looks somewhat familiar. The painting on the wall looks like an artist's depiction of the Kolyma landscape. You wonder who painted this.
So before I head back outside, let me put on my newly acquired ring.
You are now wearing the beautiful ruby ring.
And also my sexy new cloak. That way it'll keep me nice, warm, and safe in this creepy night.
With a flourish, you fling the black cloak around your neck and fasten it.
And now let's get out of here.
Sister Agatha, my dear, tell me you have good news.
The king has arrived in Kolyma, father.
That is not what I meant.
Yes. Well, he appears to be quite resourceful. It seems his reputation was not totally exaggerated.
He's still alive?
For now, but that will change soon, I think. The king has discovered that one of the gems he seeks is in the possession of a colleague of ours. Do you remember? Caldor.
Yes. Is he still trustworthy?
Totally. Still sharp, and there's no questioning his loyalty. My humblest apologies, father, but would it not have been simpler for you to have dealt with Graham personally?
Fool! Imagine the ensuing chaos where Daventry's king murdered in his own land. How then would I be able to search for the item?
I see.
Failure is not an option.
Understood, father.
Keep me informed, preferably of good King Graham's death.
Very interesting. It appears that Count Caldor is still alive. There is a plot to kill me. It seems that the Count is working with these people. Let me go to his castle and confront him about all this. So let me make my way towards the swamp and then to the castle from there. Okay, so I think the swamp is this way. Then through here. This is the little Easter egg that happens sometimes in this remake version. The Batmobile coming out of the Batcave. Quite silly. Gonna be honest here. I don't like to complain about games that I'm doing, but I don't like this Easter egg because it really kind of sucks you out of the atmosphere for the game. But that's okay. Going to continue. You go north. And then here I am at the edge of the swamp. So now the swamp is a bit of a maze. And basically the way that it works is that we have a hint. The Bible page that fell down. Let me take a look at it.
You read the Bible page again. Silently with newfound skill, Riley's souls naughtily steal.
So basically, the hint is that each letter of the word, each first letter of each word of that note is the direction you have to go. And it's going to be different in every playthrough, believe it or not. So for me, I have to start by going south. And then I need to go west. And then I gotta go north. And then south. And then west. And then south again. And then north. And then south for the final time. Excellent. And now I can see the castle off in the distance. So let me make my way that way. And look at this guy. Quite creepy. Let me go talk to him.
Boatman, I need passage. I said...
I heard.
The ghoul's voice chills you to the bone. It speaks with a deep, resonating bitterness. You cannot make out a great deal of its face, but what you can see has the hairs on the back of your neck standing on end.
In life, I would row this boat for the master. Long ago was my untimely death in these waters, but still, I remember many things. Laughter, tears, joy, pain.
Very interesting. So, you should know by now that any boatman requires a bit of a tip, so let me give him some of the money that I found in the dwarf's house.
The boatman accepts your payment and motions for you to climb into the boat.
He will ferry me across. All he needs is a little money. I don't know what good it does him in death.
The shrouded ghoul paddles across the toxic lake to the shore on the other side.
And here we are, guys, at the castle. I hope you're excited to storm it, find out the mysteries inside. I'm going to go in there in the next episode. Hope you're enjoying the series. Be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to my channel. Catch you next time. Thanks again for watching.